at the end of the day, your mental health is probably one of the best things that you can be personally investing into. Its strength, your mental health strength, your mental health resiliency, your ability to power through hard things, ability to do hard things and start hard things. It's truly one of the best ways to grow yourself is by working on your mindset, your mind first, your mental health.
Let's see. Hi.
What is up, everybody, and welcome back to the BFG. Without any further ado, let's get right into this gameplay. So the last episode, we had a pretty crazy reveal of all the heretics, and there was kind of there's some growing tension between the three of us, it would seem. And we're about to see what happens after that, the growing tension. We also talked about in the last episode how business is kind of like a roller coaster. There's a lot of ups and there's a lot of downs. And kind of in tandem with that, I wanted to today talk about mental health, something that I'm passionate about. I feel like I'm pretty good with this in terms of like maintaining my mental health and having tricks to support yourself in hard mental health seasons. So this might be this is kind of like a spoiler warning or a trigger warning to a degree. I don't want to talk about anything that's necessarily like, going to be painful for people to go through in this video, but I do want to talk about mental health and the importance of having healthy outlets for your mental health. And so that's what we're going to talk about in this episode today. So I apologize in advance if that offends anybody, but anyways, let's get into this cutscene and we'll start talking about it.
Lord, heretic Astartes. They're showing up in every hive city on Avarax. We're already overstretched by the Tyranids. The traitors have us off guard. The Adeptus Mechanicus tell me Aurora is ready. They say the weapon will work.
Sir,
I know your concerns, Titus, but we may have no choice.
can we at least warn Calgar of the danger?
Impossible. The astropathic relay on Avarax has been completely surrounded. Every attempt we've made to break through the Tyranid lines has failed.
Can we vox a message in?
There's a dead zone around the relay. Something's interfering with our vox comms.
We have to get inside.
Emperor, save me. I've tried. Now the Tyranids have launched an attack on our defenses. We're pulling back to the fortress. We'll make our final stand there.
Battlefield projection. Magnify C3. Where are you? There. The Hive Tyrant.
We've had no reports.
It's there. We kill it. We break the synaptic connection.
It scatter like rats.
A Hive Tyrant. A worthy adversary.
And if you're wrong, if it's not there, I cannot afford to throw men after a hunch.
Give me 2 squads.
2 squads?
We need to kill the Hive Tyrant, find whoever is jamming us, and get the message inside the relay.
6 men. That's all I can spare. Use them wisely.
Thank you.
The Emperor protects.
We're getting maybe kind of close to the end of this gameplay, the story mode at least, and I can definitely keep doing like a bunch of gameplay of like the operations with some people or by myself. I don't know if I can do it by myself. We can try. So if you want to keep seeing more of this game, definitely leave that in the comments section below. Otherwise, I'm going to move on to some other games that I have in mind. I also would love for you to leave some games down in the comment section below that you want to see me play. Things that you would enjoy watching and hearing some business or life advice while we watch. So definitely let me know. So today, like I said, we're going to be talking about mental health. And part of the reason why I wanted to talk about mental health, one is because like I'm passionate about finding ways that you can be healthy for yourself, for your family, for your friends, whatever. And one of the best ways to be a healthy person is by keeping tabs on your mental wellness, your mental health. And there's just a lot of stuff out there these days that try and teach people how to have mental health and mental wellness. And I'll be honest, like a lot of it is just BS. Like there's a lot of like this like self-help movement where it's like you need to have like a self-help day and all this stuff, and I need a personal day, and it's like that's not really the answer. There's a lot of escapism in our culture. Like instead of facing the problem, we're going to escape from it. Well, I'm going to take a really long vacation, and that helps, but it doesn't solve the problem. So I want to help you, kind of maybe give you some tips and tricks and talk about mental health to help you maybe solve some of your tensions, your problems.
Lieutenant, it should be us facing the Hive Tyrant.
Talassa can handle it.
They have 3 men. We should be with them, but you have us playing courier.
That message has to get through.
And what exactly is that message?
Speak your mind, brother.
I searched the archives. You were once captain of the 2nd Company, and then you disappeared over a century ago.
I was serving with the Death Watch.
There would be records.
Not for a Black Shield.
A Black Shield? You would erase your chapter markings.
I would die for these colors.
Then why?
I was accused. It was my penance.
What were you accused of?
Corruption.
Brace for landing.
Move out.
Intriguing, eh? I think that has a lot to do with the first game, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, I obviously never played the first game. I thought about trying to emulate it or something, but yeah, maybe. We'll see.
Acknowledged. Proceeding to relay. Maintain box reports. Damocles out. The Astropath relay is...
So yeah, when talking about like mental health, mental wellness, and mental, just mental mindset, one of the things that comes to mind most primarily is like how people refuse to get help from valuable sources. At the end of the day, your mental health is probably one of the best things that you can be personally investing into. Its strength, your mental health strength, your mental health resiliency, your ability to power through hard things, your ability to do hard things and start hard things. It's truly one of the best ways to grow yourself is by working on your mindset, your mind first, your mental health. And like a lot of things in our day and age compete for your attention. Like, I don't know about you, but I go through bouts. And I'm going to get kind of real and vulnerable in this episode. So for those of you just joining the channel, surprise, we're going to get real and vulnerable, I guess. But I go through bouts of like sadness, depression. I don't know what you want to call it. It's like just these bouts of like pain. I kind of describe it as like I dip my foot into the pool of melancholy a lot. Oh, this gun's freaking awesome. And my wife and I always joke about like how silly that is. Like, but there's a piece of me that's like I just find solace in seeing the sadnesses of the world a little bit and sitting in that for a little bit. And yeah, I don't know. It's like I can go through bouts of that like sadness or depression, whatever you want to call it. and it's like, it's one of those things where, you know, it's kind of like you just have to power through as you can, and like you just have to like keep moving forward. And I used to, like in the past, I used to like really struggle with like the ability to move forward from a lot of these things. And I learned a lot of tips and tricks over the years that like, oh, hello. I did not expect you to be here. I learned a lot of tips and tricks over the years that like allow me to have better mental and emotional health, no matter what I'm facing and no matter what like I'm battling, I guess. And I want to talk about a few of those with you real quick. As I... Good girl. I do not know why I'm like struggling right now. It's not letting me do my counter parry thing. Really strange. Sorry, let me just like kill this stupid thing. I hate these things. Alright, let's just murder you. Golly. Do not know why I was struggling with this part of the mission. I literally played this last night with my brother, and it was like we were commenting. We were like, this just feels easy for some reason. And yet today it feels different. Probably because I'm trying to talk and play the game, but... So, like I said, I typically go through bouts of like mental fatigue and depression, and like it can be debilitating at times. I don't know if anybody else goes through that, where you're good one day, maybe even great, and then you go into the next day and you're like, I just don't feel the same. I don't feel maybe good. I don't feel great. Sometimes I don't even feel good at all. And you might be like, am I like bipolar? And you might be like, what the heck is wrong with me? Well, first of all, I can't diagnose you with this. Obviously, I'm not a trained professional. But something that helped me is, number one, I got diagnosed with ADHD. Like, I had no clue that I had ADHD. Like, seriously, I had no clue. But then when I found out that I had ADHD, I realized, oh, like depression and anxiety and those sort of things and mood shifting, that's all a facet of ADHD. That's like surface layer problems with ADHD. So something that helped me, and this is the first tip on like getting better mental health. Something that helped me was literally like learning, I love that, was learning more about myself. Seriously, that's it. That's the simplest of answers. Learning more about yourself. Now, learning about yourself, you can do that in a bunch of different ways. You can learn about your mind, how your mind works. You can learn about your body, how your body works. You can learn about your spirit, like what do you believe about the world and the universe? All these sort of things. Also, check that out. They're just gonna murder it. Boom. But learn about yourself. Like, I tell people all the time, like, it's not selfish to learn about yourself. It's important to learn about yourself. It's important to find out more about how you tick, because there's no one that's going to be able to understand you. Like, going and seeing a counselor is great, and I'm going to talk about that in a second. But there's no one who's going to understand you better than you, right? That's just the way that the world works. Like, you need to understand you. You need to be able to know and understand how you tick. No one else is going to be able to understand that like you can. So learning about yourself, pouring into yourself, being in a place where you can like learn and grow in some profound ways and learn about how you tick is so vitally important. Let me just get this grenade off. There we go. And we're gonna kill you. See you later, buddy. So anyways, start by learning about yourself. Start by developing like an understanding of who you are and who you're not. Like something that I think a lot of us do in our day and age is we focus so heavily on what we're not good at, right? Like we're just in our heads beating ourselves up about what we're not good at rather than focusing on what we are good at. And I built a whole game in my course community, shameless plug real quick, but I built a whole game called Real Life RPG. And this game is like designed to be a game that teaches you how to develop yourself and grow and become the person that you've always dreamt of being. Now, where do you start in that self-development journey is usually the question I get. And the answer to that is start with what you're good at. Start with what you're good at. It's simple, right? It should be simple. It's a lot of times we don't make it simple, but it should be simple. Start with what you're good at, not with what you're bad at. Because at the end of the day, you want to grow in what you're bad at, but you want to enjoy the process of becoming who you're meant to be. That's the bottom line. You want to enjoy the process of who you're meant to be. And you can't enjoy that process. You can't enjoy that whole, you can't enjoy that process if you don't know who you're supposed to be, right? It's just not feasible. So you got to first understand who you're trying to be. Do I want this? Yeah, why not? Things freaking fun. So start with what you're good at. Learn what you're good at. And we have like the first episode, I believe, or one of the first episodes on our channel. I talk about how to identify what you're good at. Like figuring out what you're good at, figuring out what you might be what you may be able to maybe make money doing down the road or just enjoy doing. And this is a part of like that self-help movement that I totally agree with. Like when you're spending time working on you and working on what you're good at, do I want the melter rifle instead? Yeah, I'll just use this, why not? Oh, hello. I did not know those were down here. I must not have come down here when playing with my brother. But start with what you're good at and learn about yourself. Learn about your personality type. Now, hear me when I say this. A lot of people learn about their personality typings and they don't actually change and transform through that. They kind of stay stuck in like the problems of their typing, and they just kind of like excuse it. Like, for example, like, I don't know if you've ever met somebody where they're like, well, I'm just a Myers-Briggs INTJ, and that's just what I am, and they're just excusing their bad behavior. Oh, what are you doing there, buddy? See what? Are you okay there? Going a little insane, are you? But a lot of people like excuse their bad behaviors simply because of their personality typing, and that's not healthy, right? When you know more about yourself, it should lead you to places of development, right? Self-development. Because at the end of the day, learning more about yourself and how you relate to the world around you is the whole point. It's the whole purpose of developing yourself. There is no other point. So you need to like learn about yourself in order to improve yourself. And when you learn about yourself, like what are your strengths and what are your weaknesses? And how do you turn your weaknesses into strengths? What is going on here? Why can I not parry? Weird. Okay, that was strange. That's the first thing. Start by learning about yourself. Like, I do not know. Like, okay, I just said in the last video that maybe they fixed the parrying, and then sometimes like it just does not work. I don't get it. Anyway, but the purpose of working on yourself and figuring more about yourself is like you may uncover something that is really gross. You may uncover something about yourself that is really like really reveals the those poor guys. Let's see if they can survive. I want to help them out.
Ready to deploy special tactics.
I'm helping them out. They survived. Yay. We did it. Speaking of ADHD, like, I need to find a couple games that like are a little bit more casual gameplay, a little less intense like this, because I can't really ever finish my thoughts. I'm noticing, and like that's not fair to you guys who are trying to get valuable information, hopefully stuff that can help you. So I'm looking for a couple games that are a little bit more casual for my next few, so that I can like just make it a little bit more, my gameplay becomes a little more, what's the word, like streamlined, and you get the insights a little bit better, and it's a little bit less chaotic. Man, these guys are taking some hits. Those must be some big boys. But so like when you're working on yourself, when you're learning about yourself, you may be able to learn something about yourself that actually changes the game for your mental health. Like for me, when I learned that I'm ADHD, it like transformed my world. Like, kid you not, you may not think that these things can do that for you, but I promise you that they can. Like when I learned I was ADHD, I learned, okay, so I have a propensity to fall into these places of self deprecation and like self-defeat and just all these different things. So now I know how to catch it. I know the signs. And typically the reason why I fall into these dark places, this depression, stuff like that, is because I need a dopamine release. That's the simplest reason. I'll finish this thought in a second.
Turn around and regroup with the main force.
Titus to Resilient. Requesting Gamma Pad and Hammerfall bunker on my location immediately.
You need to jump.
Request confirmed. Stand by.
There's our entry.
That's quite a shot.
Damocles to Talassa. Report.
If Talassa fails to take out the Hive Tyrant, then our little excursion was all for naught. Remain with the main force.
Why toil in obscurity when there's glory center stage? Hey, Sergeant?
Our brothers are dying while we sneak around in the shadows.
If we fail to send this message, we face a massacre.
Our lieutenant said it himself.
There's deception at work.
If you got something to say, Sergeant. Damn it.
Alright, it's time for Death from Above. I freaking love this. I love being able to play with these jetpacks. So much fun. So yeah, you can discover a lot about yourself when you are just exploring different facets of yourself. Like a lot of times what I tell people, like when I'm coaching them or something like that, or just being friends, I'm like, I'll coach them by saying like, what is something that's rhythmic and consistent about, you know, the way that you behave or act? Like, what do you like notice that's rhythmic and consistent? Like rhythmic in terms of like, this happens like daily, weekly, monthly, etc. This one's a good gun. I like this one. But what are some of those like rhythmic things that you're noticing about yourself? I don't know if I can get up there. Huh, I can. Look at that. What's up here? Nothing that I need. But what are rhythmic things that you notice are happening? Like, do you notice like rhythmic problems that keep popping up for yourself? Do you notice like rhythmic, what am I trying to say here? Rhythmic, like bits of depression? Like something that I learned is like, I can get pretty depressed if I don't spend any time outside after a while, right? Like that's pretty common, like not having enough vitamin D intake from the sun and stuff. So it's like, what are your rhythms and what do you notice? Because that's something that like a counselor is gonna like walk you through. And that leads me to my second point. Like as you were learning about yourself, as you're learning about what makes you tick, I encourage people all the time to go see a counselor. And there's a lot of tactics involved in finding and working with the right counselor. My wife and I see a counselor every month. And some months we don't feel like we need it. Sometimes we do it because it's kind of like our habit, it's our rhythm. And so we go, and then we oftentimes get out of those times with the counselor and we're like, oh my gosh, we we needed that more than we thought we did. I'm hoping I could blow that guy's head off before he noticed me. And we're just gonna go the long way then. Shabonka. But going to see a counselor takes time. Like hear me when I say this, just like any industry, any career, there are good and there are bad options, right? That means there are good and then there are bad counselors. Like, that may suck to hear because you're maybe like, but I'm putting all my trust in this person. Like, shouldn't they be good? And it's like, yes, they should be good, but just like how there are professional baseball players that are not good at playing the game of baseball, like the same goes for like counselors. You gotta be willing to find the right ones. You gotta be willing to find the ones that are like gonna help you, not harm you. Because there are counselors out there that psychologically are not the type of person that you should be entrusting your information to. Yeah, it's just find the right person and spend some time finding said person, because it's going to take some time to find that person, but once you do, it's tremendously worth it. Like, truthfully, like our counselor, my wife and I's counselor, is somebody that is a friend as well, and most of the time counselors don't befriend their clients. But when you've worked with somebody for so long and you've been able to share deep things with them and then they share deep things with you, it's like almost we have like this really powerful friendship now, that some might say, hey, that's unhealthy, but I actually find it to be exactly what I wanted out of a counselor. And my wife and I both wanted that. We wanted somebody that wasn't just like paid to do a job, but also they were but they're a friend, but they're trained to do a job more than a friend would be able to do, right? Because at the end of the day, I love our friends, love people that love you, that sort of thing. But at the end of the day, a friend is just a friend. A counselor is a trained professional. There's a huge, huge difference. You have to know the difference. So knowing and understanding the difference between counselors is super important, but also like learning what kind of counseling style do you like the most? Like, do you like counseling styles that are casual? Do you like counseling styles that are a little bit more in your face? Like, what am I trying to say? Like, do you like counseling styles that are like a little bit more casual, like focused on family relationship? Do you need a counselor that's like more focused on you as a person? What do you need? You know, because a lot of times, like a good counselor, they're going to figure out how to get you what you need first, and then what you want later, right? Like, that's typically what good counselors do. Figure out how to meet the need. There's a lot of bugs, if you didn't notice. There's also a lot of big boys. Spoiler alert. So yeah, go find a counselor. Go find a good one. Go find a counselor that you enjoy working with, that gets you. You might work with a bunch of different counselors and they just don't get you. They don't understand you very well. And maybe they don't take the time to get to know you. Like, a good counselor should be like somebody that wants to get to know you. They want to understand you. So if they don't do that, then odds are good that they're not a good, viable option. Again, like, you want a counselor option that is not going to flinch when you talk about hard stuff. And you would probably say to yourself, like, well, wait, isn't that all counselors? And again, there's a difference between a good counselor and a bad one. So make sure you know the difference. Blow up that, please. Thank you. Oh, I guess I lost my multi. Nope, there it is. All right. So definitely start by getting some counseling help. I promise you it'll be of assistance to your life. It just will. Especially if you find the right one. Another way of determining a good versus a bad counselor. Sometimes your counselor will be wrong. Like, seriously, sometimes your counselor will be flat out wrong. We've gotten to a point, my counselor and I, where like I can be in a session with her and she'll say something and I'll make maybe a face or something. I don't know what I look like, but I'll say something and she's like, that's interesting. Tell me, what are you thinking? Like, what are you feeling? And I'm like, I just don't know if I agree with that, you know? And she'll be like, well, tell me why you don't agree with that. And so I'll tell her, I'll be like, well, this is the reason I don't know if I agree with that. Like, oopsies. Boss fight time, I guess. So we'll kind of do a back and forth, and sometimes I go home and I rebuttal in my head, and I'm like, you know what? Like, maybe she's right. I should start thinking about this differently. And then I start like kind of processing through like how to like maybe implement what she's trying to say. And then sometimes I go home and I'm just like, nope, that's still not it. Like, I've processed through this and I just don't think she's correct about that. And then I'll come back at our next session the following month and I'll be like, I don't think you were right about that. And then she'll say the same thing. Sometimes she'll even lead with that and be like, you're right. That was not accurate. And I'm sorry for saying it. And you know you have a good counselor when they put their prestige, they put their degree aside, their accreditation aside to say, you know what, I was wrong. So definitely make sure that you are working with a counselor that can admit that they were wrong. Yeah, so this part's fun. We have not one, but two. And not two, but three. So get ready. So anyways, I feel like that one's just stuck there or something. I tricked you, didn't I? They killed the Hive Titan. So if you want to see me play through that that operation where you actually kill the Hive Titan or Hive Tyrant, like, it's super fun. It's hard, but it's super fun. So find a counselor. So step one, start doing a personal journey. Journey into yourself a little bit. Get some introspection. And learn what you're good at and learn what you're not. Learn about how to get better at what you're not. Learn about how to develop new skills and new abilities and new passions, and learn how to just get better overall, right? From there, go to see a counselor, right? Talked about this. Go find a counselor. You're going to have to interview some people. You maybe have a couple sessions with some people. And that's okay. Like, you don't need to find the right counselor right out of the gate. Sometimes if you have a friend who's a counselor, that helps because you kind of know them as a friend already. You know some of their idiosyncrasies and the behaviors and things like that, and you can kind of work around that if you want to. But at the end of the day, go find a counselor. The third thing, make sure you're in a community of some kind. Do not do life alone. Make sure you're in a community. The more I'm in a community of friends where they text me in their times of need, I'm texting them in mine, the less I feel depressed. I can be kind of a lone wolf at times. Like, I work really well in a team, but there's also times where I just like want to be alone and work by myself. That's okay if you're like that. Like, I'm very introverted. Like, very introverted. I've learned how to not be introverted. But I can be very, very introverted. And that's okay. Some of you who are extroverted, like, you need to learn how to be by yourself more often. For me, because I'm introverted, I need to learn how to be more united with people, with friends, right? I need to learn how to be a better steward of friendships. That's my kind of Achilles heel. Part of the reason why I started the whole BFG community is because, also, isn't this cool? Like, these like floating, it's so freaking cool. But anyways, let's see, what do we got here? I want this one. This one's really good. Are people like falling? I'm confused. Wait, hold on. Yeah. They're like falling. Whoa. See ya. What's going on? Why are they just falling from the sky? See ya. It's so funny. Anyways, I just now caught that. I played this yesterday and I just now caught that. But anyways, do not do life alone. That's why I created the BFG. It's because I want people to have a place where they can have friends and community. Get to the next thought here in a second.
Shouldn't be here.
I have a message from Marnius Calgar.
I cannot help you.
It's urgent.
In addition to the shadow cast in the warp by the Tyranids, demonic forces are now poised to attack anyone who opens their minds to the warp.
You would flee from your duty.
I would have you know.
Give me your message. Let us begin.
My lady, I must protest. The danger is too great.
Silence! There are no guarantees.
I do not know.
You wish to bring Olga here that you may kill him! Heretic! Heretic! You will betray us as you betrayed them on Graiad!
Lies.
Arrest him! He means to kill her!
Lieutenant! Gadriel!
I am no heretic.
Is this the Power Stone by himself? He must be stopped! Kill the heretic! Kill him! Kill him! free, you gods!
So yeah, boss fight in Mura. I know nothing about this guy in terms of lore and stuff like that, so I'm just kind of like flying by the seat of my pants here. Fought this guy last night. Wasn't tremendously difficult. Let's see what it's like in single player. So yeah, don't do life alone. That's why I built the BFG, the community. We have a free Discord, like free, no cost to you. There's nothing that you have to pay for to join, and you get to meet new friends and meet people that are similarly passionate, because that's my biggest thing in life. And I want to talk to you kind of about how I was like, I don't know why this is doing so much damage. Probably should have gotten behind that pillar to survive that. But yeah, so that's why I built this whole community, is to give people with similar passions, similar interests, a place to like make friends and have fun playing games and doing business and just doing life together. Similar passions, right? If you can't meet people in places of similar passions, then I hate to break it to you, but maybe you're a little selfish. Maybe there's something that you could be doing differently. Like you should be able to connect with people around similar passions at least. So make sure that you're working on yourself, I guess, all that to say. All right, we're almost there. Look at all these eyeballs. That's creepy. So step one, figure some things out about yourself. Figure out like what you're good at, what you're not. Figure out some things about yourself, your personality typing. If you've never done that, a couple good ones are Myers-Briggs and the Enneagram test. DISC is another decent one. These are all free tests that you can take. So don't feel like you're having to spend all this money taking all these personality tests. But yeah, missed him. Nothing I can do here. Let me out. So yeah, that counseling, and then don't do life alone. From there, what do you do to get healthier and to develop good mental health? Well, you're gonna want to like spend time accomplishing something. Like honestly, like the more I'm accomplishing things in my life, the more I'm doing things that challenge me, push me, give me opportunities to scale and grow as a person, in my mind, my body, my spirit, my finances, my relationships, whatever. The more I'm doing that, the more I have a lot of joy in life. And I encourage you, find some things that you can do to give you some joy in the process of developing yourself in life. Ouch. Hopefully we won't die. Ouch. All right. Yeah, this was a little bit easier last night, I'll be honest, but it seems like for some reason, maybe they tried to make multiplayer a little easier, but not single player. I don't know. Maybe it's just the fact that there's two players playing versus, computers that don't do much. Because they don't really do much, let's be real. So yeah, that's like something that like I think is a really important step in the process of self-development is figuring out. Ouch. That's painful. Is figuring out some things that you can do to challenge yourself. Figure out some ways that you can grow your mind, your body, your spirit. Pick a challenge. Just pick something. It doesn't have to be crazy hard. Just pick something that you would enjoy. Like, let's just say you enjoy running, okay? Let's just say you're a runner. Well, I'll get into this in a second.
Did he escape?
I don't know.
Lieutenant Titus, come in.
This is Titus.
Chaos forces have been detected entering the system. They are going after Aurora. We are leaving for Demerium immediately.
How did you know? I was a boy on Calf when the Word Bearers attacked. I came to know the mark of chaos.
We're returning to the battle barge. I understand your actions, but your suspicions end here. Are we clear?
Yes, sir.
So yeah, like I was saying in my example, let's just say you're a runner, or maybe you want to get into running. Well, the first step is go do something hard in that realm. So if you're a runner, run a mile longer than you think you can, maybe 2 miles. Run for 30 minutes longer. If you haven't even started running, start running. Get out there, just start running. Start doing something hard. The more you're pushing yourself to do something hard, this is a neurological principle. The more you're pushing yourself to do something hard, the more your brain will learn how to overcome hard things. I feel far less depressed. I'm able to get out of my depression. I'm able to have a far better mental wellness when I'm not doing easy things, but rather when I'm doing hard things. It's a fascinating developmental thing that happens when you are developing yourself in hard ways through hard things. You will be able to overcome your depression. It's tremendous how much better you feel. Now, you're still gonna have bouts. So I'll give you my last bit of advice right after this.
This is Aurora. Within the last few hours, traitor forces have arrived in their hundreds and commandeered the facility.
Commandeered?
Where is Luz?
Inside. They have the facility, Luz, and the power source.
Holy terror.
Perhaps you were right, Titus.
What's our theoretical?
We've diverted all available forces to Demerium, but we're well below full strength. We've prepared an assault, but it has little chance of success, unless we take care of this. They're using it to draw in reinforcements. For every one of them we kill, 2 more show up in their place. It's heavily guarded.
I'll need a combat squad, 5 men.
I can spare 3 men. Next, the enemy seem to be drawing their power from this structure.
What is it?
We don't know. Every attempt to bring it down has failed. Your squad has developed a reputation for unconventional approaches. Any ideas?
I've read of Demerium. It's a burial world. 4,000 years ago, there was a clash between the Ultramarines and the Heretics. The Sword of Atreus, a battle barge wrecked in the fighting, was laid to rest here.
What of it?
Records state that while its body was ruined, its engines burned bright, even as it was interred. It may not fly, but it might ram.
A long shot, to say the least.
Worth a try.
Very well, then.
Navigation systems are probably dead.
We can't afford to miss. He's right. Someone will need to get close to the target and place a beacon.
Our offensive launches in 90 minutes. The Emperor guide you, brothers.
And you, sir.
back at once.
As you wish, Chaplain.
Ensure brothers Chiron and Gadriel are in attendance.
So I'm just going to finish with this. And then we're going to end this video because we're going a little bit long. But the last piece of the puzzle. So let's just say you've analyzed yourself. You've learned new things about yourself. You're seeing a counselor. You're spending time with friends. You're doing hard things. Let's just say you have another bout of depression. And you're like, what the heck? Why am I still dealing with depression? Why am I still dealing with this? The answer is that sometimes in the fires, gold is forged, right? In the fires of life, in the fires of what you're going through, some tremendously beautiful metal and some tremendously beautiful character and passion and drive and ambition gets forged in you. And sometimes you can only get to the other side of that treasure, by going through something that's hard and painful first. There's actually like this concept, I guess, in the realm of counseling called the U of death, where as you start describing your story and you process through what you've gone through in your life, you start to get really depressed and emotional, and you just have a really hard time, and you keep sliding down this slope into depression, and you get to this point where you're so deflated, defeated, and depressed, and you have to climb your way out of it. And there's two ways to go. You can go back the way you came, which means you haven't really solved the problem. You haven't really learned how to overcome yourself, or you can move forward. You can move forward. You can accept what it was. You can live in it to a degree, and then you can move forward. The beautiful thing about when you are going through a bout of depression is that to a degree, yes, there may be biological things happening. Yes, there may be psychological things happening. Yes, there might be ways to overcome that with medication or counseling or therapy or things like that. But sometimes the best way to get over something is to go through it. And sometimes the depression that you're feeling, the best way, instead of avoiding it and leaving and being like, I just need a vacation, and ignoring it, the best thing you could do for yourself is go through it. So anyways, work on your mental health, my friends. I want to make sure you are all healthy, especially in today's day and age where it's really easy to get distracted and not realize what is stealing your mental health. So make sure you're working on that. And if you like this video, if you want to see more video content like this and other videos, make sure to leave a subscribe for me. I'd love to get to know you a little bit. So tell me a little bit about yourself in the comments section below, and follow us on our social channels and join our Discord to meet some friends and game with some other people. We'll see you on the next video. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great day.